looking at the Classic Army Nemesis in this episode of Airsoftology Reviews. All right, the Nemesis. This, again, if you watch the channel, you know I kind of have a thing, like one of those borderline obsession things with this PDW style stock. It's kind of my jam, I just have to admit. So anytime one of these guns come out from anybody, I gotta get my hands on it. I gotta do it because there's just something about it. But you know my biggest complaint, you know what I'm gonna complain about, it's getting a battery in this thing. But we're gonna find out if this one passes the battery test. And I'm happy Jonathan at the end of this video, or not so happy Jonathan. But until then, we're gonna go over the Classic Army Nemesis. It comes in a ton of different flavors. This is the DE12, 12-inch, D being Delta, so I kind of picked this one. It's got these finger grooves here on the side, which I'm gonna tell you, for a full metal rail, is gotta be one of the most comfortable ones I've put my hands on. I mean, it really does feel good. Key mount on the bottom, honestly, on this one, and on the sides, got some rail panel sections. Actually comes with the rail panel sections for Picatinny rail. So if you're going, oh man, Jonathan, I was gonna buy this thing and I gotta buy key mod now. No, Picatinny rail sections, you can put your light or your laser right there on the side. If you run like a scope cam or something, you can do that as well. Across the top, we do have the flip up sights, which are the standard offering on every Classic Army gun that's in the premium tier. Nice metal, flip up, big. They sit up high, easy to use with masks, that works well. Tons of rail real estate, top to bottom, so you can put whatever you want in this thing, lighter, lasers, optics, all that. Of course, 14mm counterclockwise threads underneath the barrel here. Like I said, this is the 12-inch version. This one comes in a shorter version, I think a 10 as well. And there's a couple other versions as well, including an M-LOK version, comes in a couple different flavors, and then like a hybrid one. And the M-LOK one is called the Logo Extreme Edition. And it's pretty cool because it actually has the logo on the side of the rail. I love how it's snuck in there. You really can't tell the Classic Army logo until you are actually shown it. Moving on down, the body, full metal, aluminum, big, beefy, flared magwell build here. Again, I love that everybody's going to this trigger guard when they do their custom special guns where it's not separate so you won't end up breaking it. Nice, thick, big, no problems there. A lot of details here around the body. Fully ambi controls. Lefties, be happy. We are talking about mag release on both sides. We're talking about bolt release on both sides. We're talking about fire selector on both sides and ambi, but to give us righties, because I'm kind of a jerk righty, a little more love, the left side is short. Fear not if you do want to swap them, you can, so I'm just being a mean guy here. You can flip the sides and they'll fit right in, no problem. So if you don't want the one biting into your hand, if you're maybe a lefty and you shoot left-handed more often, you can flip the two sides on it. Moving on to the grip here, we are looking at the Classic Army Easy Access grip with the golf ball dimple textures and one little switch here, which is actually easy to get into, but not so easy you'll bump it in the field, because I know I get that question a lot. I mean, you're not going to accidentally pop this thing open, but you can just get in there, pop it open, access the motor, which is, to me, probably one of the most common errors you'll have in a gun is like overheating. The motor connectors come off. It's just from the heat, swells that metal and shrinks it. It's probably one of the easiest things to do to have this instead of not having to keep a tool. Get your gun back up and running super fast. It doesn't matter how great the gun is, unless you've soldered these things on, which you don't want to do. You're going to want to have access to this grip, and I love that they're doing that. And now they're putting it not just as an accessory, but putting a standard feature on some of their guns. Moving on down, we're going to talk about this stock now. And guess what? There's good news. I'm happy. I'm a happy camper because look how much space you have. You've got there to there. This part unscrews. You know what that means? You can actually fit a LiPo battery in here. I'm really happy about that. You have to go with the buffer tube size, so probably around 1,000 milliamp hours. You will still need to have a couple of those on hand, depending on how heavy-handed you are with your trigger on the battlefield. If you shoot a lot, you're going to want to maybe get a couple of those. And swapping it out is not that bad. You can get to it and start cranking this thing open, twisting it. I mean, it's definitely not like accessing a door. That is one of the trade-offs you get with the PDW, but again, it's kind of my love affair with these guns. They look so cool, and if you're playing CQB, you can have a longer gun with a shorter stock. Also, the stock itself is nice and short, comfortable, grooved metal. Again, we're talking metal throughout, and I just want to pause real quick. This is the plastic part on the gun, just the grip. That is it. On the stock itself, that button, like I said, is there. You can take it out to the farther position, middle, or all the way to the shortest position. That's the closed, if you want to call it that. Still usable, still tuckable, actually, in the closed position, which is nice. Moving to talk about the internals on this gun, 603mm barrel in here, which is kind of the standard for premium guns. You're going to find any good premium gun is going to come with the 603. It's that perfect balance for good BBs out there to give you just a little bit of space and all that. And I think pretty much every major premium manufacturer is going with that. And the rotary hop up, which again, I love. I think this is becoming like the new standard feature for high-end guns. Also under the hood, high torque motor here to keep things spinning, wire cut, steel gears. You actually have 9mm bearing bushings in here and all the other cool stuff that's under the hood for Classic Army. In fact, it's pretty much all pre-upgraded premium parts under here, so you're not going to deal with any kind of major upgrades on it down the road if you want to kind of do some tuning up or tuning down. One more huge news. I know we talk about quick change springs, right? And usually I'm just like, it's quick-ish because you still have to get the mech box out of the body. Nope. Guess what? Right here in the back, you can access the quick change spring. So you can pop this part off, take this component, get in there and change your spring, which means if you guys play CQB and then you go to play field and you want to take this thing to like say 350 or even lower, like 330 if your field requires that, all the way back up to 400. If you can do that, you can do it easily and not have to take all the components apart. Again, that is a true quick change spring system in my mind, not one that just has a thing on the back of the mech box and it's a version 2, which is the M4 style here, and you still have to disassemble everything, get it out of the gun to make that change. Take it to the chrono, saw some really good numbers here. Definite field gun. If you guys want to tune it down for indoor, it's no problem. Like I said, that quick change spring lets you do it and do it very easily. But if you're kind of floating on that outdoor game, this is no problem. Or you have an indoor field with, what I would call normal to a little bit higher limits, you're fine there. Also, rate of fire is nice and healthy in there, and that's because of the trigger system inside of here and the torque motor. By the way, too, in this, you do have that programmable trigger. It has burst function as well as semi-lockout and all the other goodies. So if you kind of want to DMR this thing, you can lock it out to semi. If you're allowed to do burst and you want to conserve your BBs, you can do that as well. Or if you want to do anything in between, it's all pretty much available to you. All right, I guess this is the only, if I'm going to drop some bad news on you, it's a premium gun, so you know it's coming with the bad news section. I really like this gun. I like it a lot. But you're gonna have to open up your wallet to get it, and that is the downside. You're looking at like high 300s to low 400s US dollars here. Again, if you guys live in other countries like Canada, you live in the UK, you live in Europe, you live in Asia, you may have different pricing on this. I'm just giving you guys US pricing here on this so you can kind of do your conversions. Like I said, you're looking at kind of that high 300s to very low 400s on this. So to get this, the bad news is you're going to unfortunately have to shell out a little bit of cash. But again, it's what you get with the premium gun with that programmable trigger, all the wiring, everything you need, all the good stuff you're going to have for a high-end gun. So that's it on the Nemesis series. All the different offerings, like I said, they've got a bunch of different flavors out there for you to get. I want to know, what are your thoughts on this PDW style, like long front, short in the back? It's like the opposite of a mullet in an airsoft gun. If you guys know what a mullet is, I don't know. If you don't, look it up. It's on Wikipedia. I want to know what you guys are thinking about that. Do you like this style? Do you not like this style? Have you been like me where you're like, oh, you can't fit batteries in it, and you're glad that you have some out here now that can do it? There's a few on the market like this one that you can actually pick up. Let me know your comments in the comment section below. I'm going to be down there watching and checking and reading and responding to those as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.